Hello, Dr. Pfeiffer. I am entering a video for my final thoughts, and I will use what I submitted as my PowerPoint to highlight key important facts. So the first question was, how do you advocate for those with the biggest challenges? One of the things that I took into consideration when creating my homeschool community forum was being culturally responsible to the students and families here in Saudi Arabia. So you will see from my first slide, we have the homeschool community campaign in Arabic written at the bottom. So we're including the native language and also providing throughout the campaign, which the campaign is Let's Get Connected and Forming Unity. Throughout the campaign, the different activities offered to the parents, such as videos and training for the online school portal and the forming of the PTA, will all have Arabic translations and access for the parents throughout. Also, the Let's Get Connected campaign focuses on teaching parents the skills that they need to be able to help their students should they have to be online, teaching them the technology and providing resources for the parents so that they can also help their students at home. The resources provided in the Let's Get Connected campaign will all include video, in person, and also in person on weekends or evenings or mornings to accommodate for different schedules within the parents. So that covers the campaign. The campaign will focus mostly on providing professional development or development for the parents to help their students at home, being equitable by using their native language. Let's moving on. So we want to empower the parents and the students and the community through creating this campaign and addressing the cultural needs of the school community. I am doing this by incorporating the Epstein model and using the 6 types of collaboration with in conjunction with the activities that we've designed to help parenting, communication, volunteering, home learning, decision-making, and community collaboration between everyone. So our main focus would be to establish a PTA because it doesn't really exist here, and begin to get parents talking and in the discussion with school and starting to make that connection between school and home so that there's some cohesion and the parents are aware of what's going on and parents helping other parents. The main focus after that would be the online portal, which would provide equitable training for the parents and for the students, along with language support for them. And it would focus on tech support and creating events throughout the year where homeschool and community can come together. So parents, stakeholders, and the like. The second question is how you infuse technology and how you plan to integrate technology for remote learning. And again, that is also part of this campaign, is creating a portal online for the parents so that they can access resources to learn how to navigate the different online platforms and different forums that their students will need for online learning. And this tech support will be provided in English and Arabic for the parents, and will also be in person or online to accommodate for different people's schedule. So the tech is very important in the campaign and training the parents and the students how to use this tech, as well as teachers, of course. The third question is my role as a family community liaison for my own growth. This, I think, was the most important part of creating this campaign, was looking at my role as a leader in the school and trying to implement all 6 types of the major involvement that really need to happen in order to create this homeschool community cohesion. So as a leader, my role needed to be to look at all of the stakeholders and figure out a way that they can all be equitable partners, where lots of schools might just focus on the school aspect. My role as a leader is to be the community liaison, is to connect with the families and to connect with the businesses that might help to make these connections with the families. The way that I incorporated businesses and other stakeholders that are not the parents of the students is by creating some workshops and PTA meetings in some of our partners' locations. Let me see, I put that here at the bottom. So the community partners, these were random, was a language school, Arabia's, the MISC Foundation, which provides scholarships and opportunities for students that are Saudi. I chose Maestro Pizza, which is a place where they have them and we can have meetings there. My vision with the community partners was creating spaces other than school for parents, community leaders, and educators to get together, preferably for the PTA meetings or for any additional meetings that we might need to have taking place outside of the school, to take away the feeling of this is like school is like the home territory for the educators. So providing an outside space such as a pizzeria or Subway or Starbucks allows parents and our community partners to mingle in a safe space that doesn't feel like it's run by the school. So my thoughts were, especially like Starbucks, having like some comfortable seating and getting some space from these people, from these community partners, to provide a space to create a relationship that is outside of the school for the parents so that they feel comfortable. In terms of PEASL standards, Standard 8, meaningful engagement of families and communities. I think this is my key point in creating a PTA, is to establish a meaningful relationship with volunteers, parents who choose to volunteer, and then getting those parents excited to get other parents to volunteer, and maybe parents that might not feel comfortable interacting with the school administration, they might feel more comfortable interacting with parent liaisons for the PTA. So meaningful engagement of the communities, providing training for PTA members or volunteers to begin the PTA, and also getting teachers involved in the PTA and administrators and community partners would be meaningful engagement for me. This also correlates with the LEPES standard 2, school climate. I think that creating these type of meaningful relationships with parents outside of school and in school will create and foster a stronger school climate. And LEPES 5, communication and community relations. These are strongly tied in to establishing a PTA and establishing the parent portal. We're reaching out to the community. We're providing meaningful partnerships with our local vendors and creating a space for parents to be involved with the school outside of the school. Let's see what else. It's also NELP 5.1, understand and demonstrate the capacity to collaborate, engage, engage in diverse families and strengthening student learning. So again, providing this space for Saudi families to start to interact with schools. A lot of the mentality in Saudi is we send our kids to school and school is very separate from home. So what happens at school doesn't usually get reinforced at home because parents expect school to do school's job. So establishing the PTA and community partners would be my goal to get the parents involved and building that communication with a diverse population, understanding that parents getting involved in school is not a cultural norm here, but trying to make it. So establishing the importance of the PTA and establishing that safe space where maybe we get the parents involved by doing a mingle and mixers at Starbucks or getting them to bring in their kids. So it's parents, kids, and educators at Maestro Pizza or Subway, where there's a communal element put in there. Let me see. PESL 5, Community of Care and Support of Students, is also present in my forum because we are establishing the Parent Teacher Association. So we're establishing a community of care. We're also establishing a Get Cultured, which is the unity part of my plan, in providing cultural immersion for teachers to get connected and understand the culture so that they can provide a community of care and support for the students. So having the staff be culturally proficient would create this community of care and support for our students and their families and understanding their culture better. And the aim is to do this through fun activities, language classes, cooking, currency, field trips, and maybe getting parents involved, like how parents would want to contribute to some of these cultural events and cultural immersions for the teachers. So establishing that community of care and building these strong relationships so that the family and the school can come together. Part of this also will be NELP 3.1, which is using data to evaluate, design, cultivate, and advocate for supportive learning community. So through these PTA meetings and parent portal meetings and things from the school, there will be an ongoing data analysis plan in place to evaluate the success of our ventures. So establishing the data collection and having parents understand that if they contribute to the feedback and in the PTA and the school, the teachers also contribute to these surveys, we can cater to their needs. If they contribute, they will also benefit from these data point collections. So contributing and participating, active participation will lead to representation in the school environment. So getting parents to understand that if they participate in the PTA, their voices will be heard, and getting school admin to also understand that we need to hear parent voices and community voices in order to create a cohesive homeschool and community environment for ultimate success, for our students to be the most successful. Um, this also ties in with PESEL 3, equity and cultural responsiveness. For me, cultural responsiveness, the most important is for teachers to understand the culture of the students that they're teaching. Here, mainly Saudi students, understand their customs, their religion, um, and what is normal for them. Understanding that, you know, that in the past, parents don't get involved with school. So understanding how that's a cultural norm and then creating ways to change the norm and change the narrative so that parents feel comfortable communicating with the school. But that also means that the school needs to be comfortable communicating with the parents. So we need to provide an environment where teachers understand the culture, and instead of being maybe frustrated by the culture of the lack of parental involvement, using this to create more parental involvement to change the narrative. Um, NELP 3.2, evaluate, cultivate, and advocate for equitable access to educational resources, is also a key component of this campaign in having the connected portal. We want to educate the parents to have access to the software that we are using and understand the software and be able to help, especially help their younger students navigate and understand the software being provided for online learning. And I believe that is all. So just a recap in the three, and I'm just looking at my notes for the three questions to make sure I hit all the points. But in recapping, how do I advocate for those with the biggest challenges? By providing support and services and creating comfort. So providing the tech support, providing the PTA, and following the Epstein model, allowing for communication, volunteering, allowing for home learning, and getting the families involved in the decision making and getting community collaboration from our partners is how I advocate for the biggest challenges, which would be understanding the culture and understanding technology and having open communication in both English and Arabic. Number two, how I infuse technology and how I plan to integrate technology for remote learning would be the online parent portal, teaching the parents and the students and the teachers how to use the portal, how to use the technology, how to use the software, and how to be involved. And finally, the role as a family community liaison is understanding these 6 major types of involvement from Epstein and really trying to incorporate all 6 of them throughout the year to create the greatest involvement for the highest number of student success, creating the opportunities for these types of involvements to occur, and reaching out and liaising with the community, reaching out to the partners to gather space and resources for us to get parents interested. So our community partners providing gift cards and things to make incentives to make parents want to get involved. And then as we build this program of parents getting involved, then we might not need so many incentives to get the parents in, but the incentives are always positive ways to get parents involved, especially when they might be reluctant to otherwise. It was a lot of fun working on this project and creating the forum, and also very eye-opening to realize that as an educational leader or admin, you have to be looking at all of these 6 ways of getting people involved in the school to create the greatest number of success. And I think a lot of educational leaders and admin and higher ups don't necessarily look at these different avenues of communicating with parents. It's a top-down decision making instead of getting everybody involved and getting the community involved. So I think it was eye-opening. It's also eye-opening as a teacher to understand some of the ways that I've communicated in the past and some of the ways where I could improve my communication with parents and my outreach, and even just having more outreach with parents and not relying as a middle school and high school teacher. We tend to forget about the parents because the students are older and we can talk to them and tell them what we need from them. And we might discount how important the parental involvement really is. So, as a middle and high school teacher, I think it was important for me to understand these 6 types of involvement, to think of ways that I can help parents um, communicate and volunteer and help with home learning just in my classroom alone. So getting the parents involved in a classroom environment, not just a school environment, having them be a part of the process. Thank you so much for class. And I look forward to continuing with the program.